But our guest speaker is here, and he's no stranger to the house. Amen. He's no stranger to us, but it's always an honor and a privilege to have him. So this evening, Canon Dr. Lawrence Tetteh, President of the World Miracle Outreach Center, is here. Is in the house. Do you want to stand and welcome him even as we welcome him to the podium? You want to welcome him?
Thank you. Please take your seats and just thank God for your lives. Pastor Asiedu, I didn't hug you when you introduced me. I think it's part of the tradition. Amen. And let me say, you folks sang the song so well. Nara, Nara. Oh, I want to thank God for the house. Thank God for the life of our father, our pastor, for some of us, our counselor, the Right Reverend Dr. Samuel Kwame Labi. Kwame Labi. And his wife, Reverend Sofa Koshi Labi. It's always a joy to be here. And truly, as Pastor Alfred said, I don't see myself as a stranger when I come to this church. I see myself as one of you. It's good to see the Reverend Lawrence Labi. Lawrence is a very special name. So if you are not privileged to be called a Lawrence, it's not my fault. You should ask your mother or your father why they didn't give you that name. And what can I say about the Mrs. Lawrence Labi? You may kiss the bride. It's such a great joy to be here. This week is going to be a very special week. We arrived from Ghana this morning. I am very much geared up for this program. I'm going to be sharing with you from my heart. I know Pastor Labi is on his way. We spoke a while ago. I want you to know that God is in the business of doing something very new in your life. And as our brother rightly said, tomorrow is going to be a very crazy day here. I'm believing God to lay hands on a lot of people tomorrow. I'm also believing God that we will call somebody and the numbers will increase. Nobody can evangelize in an environment like this than you. The mistake we do as Christians is that we depend on the leaflets, we depend on the posters, we depend on the TV adverts, but that doesn't go anywhere. The amount of money we spend, and trust me, if there's any Ghanaian who has been on TV constantly for many years, I have. But I can tell you this, that it's just another thing. President Kufuor told me many years ago that when I do crusades, I do it for the outsiders before they get to the Independence Square. And I asked him, your sense, what do you mean? I said, because you do a lot of publicity. Even people who don't come know something has happened. It made so much sense to me. And that was the president telling me, that President John Ajikun Kufuor. That's what he said. He said, I'm a very great organizer, and that he's noticed I do billboards, I do posters, I'm on TV. And so even if somebody doesn't come to the program, he knows there's a program taking place. And they said for him, that is very important. And you do the crusade. And so that is what you've done. Pastor Alfred and those of you who have been in the planning front, you've done a crusade outside. Anybody who has watched TV or have seen the leaflets, who has not come, knows that something has taken place. But now, in order for us to fill this place, we have to be very individualistic. In fact, the truth is that if this was the only message I came to give you, it's preaching of the gospel. As an evangelist, at least I've crossed 3 decades already preaching the gospel. I know that 1-to-1 works. Can you imagine how many people we'll have here if everybody here brings one person tomorrow? Just one. If every one of you seated here today brings one, and you know that it's very easy. How many of you here has neighbors?
That's it.
Have you had a privilege to ever tell your next door neighbor, please accompany me to church? I tell you, you'll be surprised. That's the biggest gift you can give to your next door neighbor. Sometimes we are wicked, and all of us here at once, we've been very wicked. Very, very wicked. We've been very, very, in fact, backsliding in the heart begins from not being able to speak about Christ. I'm speaking as an evangelist. Going about busy doing the king's business will not make up for neglecting the king. What's a mistake we'll do that you dress up and you're coming to church and your next door neighbor couldn't come to church, and the people in your house couldn't come to church, and certain people that are close to you couldn't talk to them? You'll be surprised certain people who are fighting you, who are reporting you, who have problems with how you deal with your house and things. If the day you invite them to church, from that day, they become your friends forever. How do you think it will feel like when your next door neighbor, who has been so nasty and so cheeky to you, you talk to the person tonight that my brother, my sister, in spite of all our differences, it's a special service in our church tomorrow. Will you be my guest? If there's anything like what Pastor Labi talks about Holy Ghost nightmare, that will be their Holy Ghost nightmare. That's correct. In fact, the whole night they will be turning around and be thinking of what clothes to wear, what attire to wear, what shoe to wear, and that alone is enough. In fact, they'll be thinking about how to even dress to come with you. Put your hand on somebody's shoulder and tell the person, you have failed. You have failed. You have failed to not have done that. Oh yes, you have failed. You have failed. If only you can tell somebody about that. And do you know that we all have the privilege? We have the privilege every day to correct this mistake. And I say this to also bring you back to a realization of something we always forget about. Don't worry, I'm an evangelist. So everything I say here is something that is me. There are some of you seated here today, truly speaking, you have not been part of this conference. You have been part of the planning. You have been part of water. You have been part of what happens here. You have been part of what should be done. But you have really not been part of it, because this conference is not supposed to just showcase Elim. It's supposed to win souls. Now tell me how many people here are new. Tell me. So your excitement here, your excitement doesn't move me one. You have excited the people who know you already. And the people seated here were not moved by you one bit. Wow. Pastor Alfred's introduction was not moved one bit. What I am saying here is not moved by any of you one bit, because there are most of you here, at least 99 point something here, knows Lawrence Tetteh already. So there's nothing I'm going to do now. My dancing will not move you. My songs will not move you. My jumping will not move you. Maybe it's new stories, but who cares? And this meeting was meant for revival. You don't use old people to revive. Revival comes through new people. Old people are political. In fact, when Pastor Labi enters now, the suit you'll be wearing, or the shirt you'll be wearing, or the tie you'll be wearing, some of you here have seen him wear it before. In fact, you possibly know when he wore it the last time. And so certain things are not new. In fact, as soon as you see him, or you see Pastor Alfred, or you see anybody, you know, oh yeah. It's when, in fact, you know him. You can tell, if somebody else is wearing that shirt, you know this shirt belongs to him. Don't worry, if this was the only thing I came to stay here, I can go and sleep free. Yes, with all our black dressing here, who did we bring to church? So your singing doesn't move anybody. Nobody's impressed. You are singing to the same old people. What a joy it will be that by now somebody is sitting at the corner there that will be surprised that, wow, I've always seen you as my next door neighbor. I never knew you sing like this. Last week, I was invited to a church by a managing director of a bank in Ghana to come and preach in the church. Then he told me I should try to come the first service. I was supposed to be preaching their second service, Lighthouse. So I was compelled to go to the service. Myself and Barbara, we drag ourselves just for me to know that the managing director of the bank is a praise and worship leader. Wow. A managing director. When we finished, the offering he gave me, even if the church doesn't give me love offering, I was okay. He was the one, he was the music director. Wow, managing director. That is a flair. Sometimes we don't know why the miracles refuse to come. Because you are not doing this. Trust me, it's not how long you fasted and how you presented yourself. It is how spiritual connected you are. It's not the coming to stand here or coming to stand upstairs and everybody know you are eloquent and you are punctual. Your punctuality is nothing to God. Who am I talking to here? Who want to be honest? And so we go about busy doing the king's business, but in our heart we have neglected the king. Hold someone and say, going about busily doing the king's business will not make up for neglecting the king. So you'll be surprised. We're busy to come to church. I know people who, house boys don't go to church, cooks don't go to church, garden boys don't go to church, their visitors don't go to church, their family members don't go to church, they dress, they come to church. That is foolishness. So how do you detect if a spirit has entered into them? How do you know if that house girl in the house is an agent? How would you know? How would you know that secretary in your church is an agent? How do you know if that secretary in your office, that P, is an agent? How would you know if you cannot get a person? That fiancé of yours, that boyfriend, that girlfriend, that fellow you are going about with, how would you know if they have the right spirit? And so you'll be seated and you are vulnerable. You come and spiritually enrich yourself, but you are going back to meet somebody from the pit of hell. And you could not test the spirit of your next door neighbor. You could not. You could not test the spirit of your best friend. Some of you seated here today, your best friend has never been to church before. The person with whom you send WhatsApps and every nonsense on your mobile phone, this whole day you've been conversing with, you couldn't invite a person to church. Something is wrong. Something is certainly wrong. And Christians, we are sleeping. No doubt the Bible says when we slept, the enemy came and so us. And then you come here, and when you finish, the person you're going to communicate with is somebody who is not connected to you spiritually. no doubt on our phones, we have things when the phone gets lost, we get sick. If your phone enters into somebody's hands now, a gentleman recently, I watched a clip, very interesting. He was watering the gardens. You've seen that one? And one of the children came to tell him that, Mr. Osechan, I invited you to church. Come and sit here. Clap for me. I invited somebody. Lawyer also a chance. Come and sit down. I invited him. In fact, when he called me, what time did you come? About just 1 hour ago. I told him I'm coming to church. Come. He said it's late. I said I'm late too. Come. I'm just telling them about what I have done. I've invited him. This one is not part of this church. This is Christianity. The ritual and authority of a Christian. Don't worry. If this was the only thing I said today and I said, let's go home, I'm happy. I'm an evangelist. He was watering the house and his daughter came to tell him that your phone has landed in the hands of your wife. And she has seen certain things on your mobile phone. And she said, I should tell you to come. When you finish, you know that. So when you finish watering, come. He needs to talk to you. The guy watered until the place was flooded. He was still watering. He has watered. In fact, the place has flooded, and the water was still there, and he was still watering. Ubeti boboli bobo. Why was he scared of going to meet his wife? I had another gentleman too like that. He was on the hospital bed. He was about to be operated. And just before they injected him, they had the nurses say that they've given his wife to his wife, his mobile phone to his wife. He got up and said he doesn't want to do it again. It's okay. It's okay. If only his phone is with his wife, then he would not do surgery again. They should give. Now, these things we use our mobile phones for. If we can use it to evangelize, what a shame it to be if just 10 of us here decide to send people WhatsApp tonight. There are certain people who are just waiting. They are just waiting for you. Tell somebody you. Put somebody, say you. They are just waiting for you. They are just waiting for you. They are just waiting for you. In fact, there are certain people. Look at some boys are dying for you. Some girls are dying for you. Some people, in fact, they just like you. As crazy as you are, they like you. If you can only invite them to church, they will come with their mother, their father, their uncle, their auntie, their great-grandfather. In fact, because you invited them to church. That is where the revival begins. Revival begins when you behave like John Knox, who said, give me Scotland or I die. We all fall short of that. You're waiting for a miracle. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. Sometimes a little sacrifice to preach the gospel is what makes the miracle. 4 days today, in fact, a day before yesterday, I had some money, crazy money. Crazy money. Somebody was dying in a place called Kaswa in Accra. I'd gone to preach for Pastor Menson Tabe University in fact, Pastor Labe even spoke to a throughout. We and Pastor Labe spoke for almost 1 hour on the phone whilst we were going there. We finished around 12 midnight, and they called me that the woman was dying, and so they wanted me to come and minister communion and anoint her before she gives her last breath. Her children are in their state. So I drove with my whole team and we went to the place. When we finished, I gave them some money. Everybody was excited. Wow, Dr. Tetteh has come here and things. When we came and we got to the road, the guys were hungry, so we want to buy bread to go home. It was around 2 a.m. And a lady came out and saw me from her car. She went into her car, brought money, pounds. In Ghana, pounds. I didn't bring it. I left it in Ghana. No, I left it in Ghana. So I know you'll be here, so I left it. I said to myself, so you have all this money on you in the car. I said, she was going to give it to a fetishist priest. I've got her pictures and everything on my phone. She was going to give it to a person priest, and that something happened. And she thought God has disowned her. So at that 2 a.m. we met her. She was with her driver, seated in front of the car, that they were going to a fetish priest that has been shown in some village around the area. And so when she saw me, Dr. Tetteh, wow, at this night, what am I doing there? She saw me, she just came to kneel down. I prayed for her. She started shaking and said I should wait. She went to the car and brought the money. He said I was going to give all this money to a fetish priest that I don't know. And that if I know you on TV, he said, this is the first time I've seen you in person. I only watch you on TV. I give you the money. I said, look here, I went to do the work of God. And instantly, God bless me. Look at me and let me tell you this. There is no way you can serve God. He will leave you the same. Never. Righteous cannot be forsaken. And the seed of the righteous never beg for blood. I beg of you, young boys, young girls, young ladies, old ladies, don't be too concerned about where you are seated in church. Be concerned about the part you play. Amen. Don't you ever get carried and complacent. Be concerned about the part you play. We sit here today, everybody needs a miracle. But what makes the miracle? We've lost it. What makes the miracle is connecting God. What makes the miracle is what? Tell someone what I said. What makes the miracle is connecting God. I don't really give a hoot. The American language makes it sound better. I don't give a damn where I get seated. As long as not deep in my heart, I'm connected to God. I don't even give a hoot about what anybody thinks about me. God does not judge me because of some foolish person's opinion about me. Tell someone what I said. Some foolish person's opinion about me. People have opinion about us. Don't people have opinion about you? Have you had people have opinion about you? If you look at them, you look at even them, and you look at them, and you just thank God that you and them, you look at them. In fact, if they are the ones who have opinion, you can sleep. And sleep without losing your sleep. Who am I talking to? There are certain people, when you hear they are talking about you, you don't really, in fact, okay, all right. You'll be very petty to respond back to certain people. Because it's not worth it. Where you've been, they cannot be. What you've seen, they cannot see. What you are, they can never be. The blessing God has given to you, they don't have. Some of you seated here today are fearfully and wonderfully made. You are the apple of the Lord's eye. You are the head and not the tail. You are above and not beneath. You are a winner and not a loser. If you are the one I'm talking about, put your hand together to Jesus and know that you are the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. Do it tomorrow. The revival will begin tomorrow. Because the faces I'm seeing today are not faces for revival. I'm sorry, but I don't know how to mince words when it comes to issues like this. Seeing the same old faces. So the publicity is not worth it. The revival is not worth it. You revive with people who are new and they build your spirit. There are certain miracles today when we are praying about for certain people. We have to curtail it. You have to curtail it. If somebody comes here today with impotence and is new, you're happy to pray for the person openly. If an old person is seated here, you have to be careful. If somebody gets up here today who is barren, you have to be careful the way you talk about it. If it's a new person, it's easy. But it's the old person miracle that will encourage the old person. The new person's miracle. As we sit here today, if somebody has HIV, you have to be very sensitive about it. But when the new persons come, that one will encourage the person that, oh, if God had touched this one, me too, God can touch me. There are certain kind of miracles that you don't even call an old person to pray for about. It will be so insensitive. And so we use new people to revive our spirits. That is why baby Christians are more vibrant than older Christians. Because older Christians have seen it all. They become very political. They psychoanalyze what is said. There are certain messages, if Pastor Alfred is preaching now or Pastor Lawrence is preaching now, the moment he begins it, he look at somebody's face, he will change his mind. He will change his mouth, because when the person look at him twice, the person know we talk about this thing. How dare you are saying to the platform. But when evangelists come, he gets away. That is why even getting guest preachers, this is the whole essence. This is the whole essence. The way I'm firing about this thing, if Pastor Lawrence or Pastor Alfred, an insider is saying it, it becomes very personal. Because he knows the lazy ones who didn't do anything. So some people will know this man is being personal. When Lawrence Tetteh comes, after all, I'm finishing with you on Sunday, on Monday or Tuesday. A Congolese will say, Nakei, I'm gone. So wave your hands. Say, let's correct it. Let's correct it. And I wish somebody here will carry the spirit of humility and understanding in what I've said. This is a spiritual rebuke, which if you are sensitive, it will enter your spirit. But there's also foolishness that bewitches us. And Paul said, foolish Galatians, who has bewitched you? But there are people who will not take this in good faith. But if you really want to be serious, we've missed it. When the Bible says angels rejoice when one person comes to the Lord, what have you done? Every one of us here today, if you target 10 people from now, and out of the 10 people, even 2 are able to make it tomorrow, this is not a big auditorium. It's not a big auditorium. Especially from where I'm coming from, this is not a big auditorium. I'm coming from Africa. Of course, I lived here with you people. I carry the passport you people carry. But in Africa, you see the clouds. So this is not a big deal. It's not so much a big deal that there's nobody here who can put $100,000 pounds in an offering today. In Ghana, we have it. Trust me. In Nigeria, we more than have it. I was taking an offering in Papa Ayo Rese Jafo's church. In my usual Ghanaian English-based attitude, I said, anybody here who can give $10,000? Papa Ayo was seated down. Then a guy got up from the back and said, can I excuse him? He took the microphone and said, Dr. Tetteh, there are big people in this church. Yeah. Even in Sapele, they call it church. Sapele is next to Wari. They call it church. Church. They are the people who call Hania. You see, these Nigerians, anywhere I meet them, I have to confront them. We go to Nigeria and they'll tell us, Pastor Lawrence, we don't know how to speak English. Can you imagine? Me, Nene, Lawrence Kofi Agbenyo Tetteh. The guy said, Dr. Tetteh, there are serious people in this church. This church. He said there are people here who can give $100,000. Derek, you were there. Derek was there with me. Me, Derek, Barbara, and my guys. Then the guy said, oh yeah, how many people will give $100,000? How many people got up?
About 200 people.
No way.
By the time we finish, we have almost 200 people who are giving between 100 and 10,000. People started getting up. Then I open my mouth. Then Papa you say, you see your face. You come to London and give me that small money. And yeah, they do for me. And I say, so, Lawrence, I like you. That's why I come to your church. People started got now. This one say 100. This one say 50. This one say 20. This one say 30. By the time we realize people have nullified me, we have about 200 people who say 20, who say 30, who say 40, who say $50. My mouth was wide open. Bible said, I see. We finished the cars. Some people, about 50 cars, they're outside. Don't worry. Cars people come to give a weekend as gift. And so it's not a big deal. In fact, I also want to tell you that it's not even a big deal preaching in Europe anymore. If it's only offering. How do you think we travel? If me and Barbara alone travel on Ghana Airways, British Airways, first class, 2 or 3 or 4, check how much it costs. How do you think we survive? Who will give you 10,000 pounds for first class ticket for one person here? They won't talk to you again. They will not talk to you again. When they do that, they will not. In fact, if they do that, I'll lose my friendship with this house. As you serve God, He blesses you. I have no apology at all about this area I've diverted the message to, because this program must be filled. And trust me, it is your responsibility to make sure this program is filled. Because everybody here is believing God for a miracle.
Yes.
What my miracle is, it's not a miracle for Pastor Alfred. Certainly not a miracle for Pastor Lawrence Labby. But all of us in our own little way, we are believing God for some kind of miracle. In fact, if I tell you what I need for a miracle, you laugh at me. And maybe if Pastor Alfred say, I'll laugh at him. Or if I tell Pastor Lawrence what my miracle is, he might even laugh at me. Or if he tell me, look, you'll be surprised. How many of you have just believed a miracle to sleep before? You want a miracle to be able to sleep. Sleep. Miracle. Somebody is seated here. Your miracle one day is to go to Buckingham Palace. Yeah. Your miracle is to one day to go to Buckingham Palace. Somebody to go to. I remember there was a time we were supposed to be going to Buckingham Palace and Barbara was sleeping. Can never forget that thing. You remember that case? She was sleeping. What did I tell her? That if she doesn't go, I wish I was a Muslim. Told her. She called my mother. I said, Auntie Julie, come and see your son. They said because of Buckingham Palace, he wants to be a Muslim. I said, if I was a Muslim, I said, Munata, I'm a Nata, Aishetu, Abibata. Because if I'm a Muslim, I would have had about 4 or 5. That nonsense of telling me you're sleeping. Barbara, what is wrong with you? Let's go to Buckingham Palace. We have an invitation, garden party, Buckingham Palace. Barbara said, we've been there a couple of times. Then she's sleeping. Jesus Christ. I was dressed. She was still sleeping. Barbara, will you go? She said, do you want to go? I said, Barbara, didn't you see since yesterday? I've been looking for the tie. I'm looking for what to wear. She said, this thing. How many times do you want to go? I said, Barbara, you don't know where I come from. Anytime I go there, people must not have been there. Ask Pastor Labby. When Pastor Labby's grandchildren and the Labby's children broke their pictures, Mrs. Labby, get up. I'm talking to you, lift yourself up. Do you remember when your children destroyed the thing? Pastor Labby was not happy at all. Anytime you go to say these children, my grandchildren, they destroy his picture with the Queen and Prince Charles. That's pictures there. Prince Philip. What are you talking about? Where we come from, they must know we've been there. Yes. I have certain pictures in my house, in my office, that I don't want. In fact, when they clean it, I place them certain places. Then Barbara tells me, Nene, we've been there. I said, Barbara, you don't understand. I have to go. And Barbara, if you don't get up, in fact, I said, Barbara, I wish I was a Muslim today.
So you don't need one?
Today, yes. If I was a Muslim, I would have had 4 wives. And so if Barbara is not going, Aminata will go. Abibata will go. Aishetu will go. Alisha. What are some of the names? Khadija will also go. Fatimata will go. Mariatu will go. Aisha too. Quickly, she went to get herself ready. She called my mother. She told my mother, come and see your son here. Your son said because of Beckham Price. So I said, we went to the place. And every time she looked at me, I said, yeah. How many people get that privilege? Some of you have been here several times. You know what I mean? We'll go there in one in Jesus' name. Receive it. Even Derek, you follow me there. Weren't you happy? Derek, were you happy or not happy? How many times have you followed me there? Twice. Were you happy or you're not happy? Lift up your 2 hands. Say, I was happy. We came to church. I say we came to what? Church. Church. I don't believe church must be boring. And church should certainly not be a formula. Church should not be a formula. Church should be unconventional.
Definitely.
Church should be relaxing. This whole thing not be stiff. But now I've quoted the scripture and then I cry some more. And my friend, no. Church must be lively. You must go from church. You've been rebuked some more. You have cried some more. You have danced some more. You have laughed some more. You have sung some more. You shake yourself some more. The fatness is gone some more. Beauty has come some more. Life is gone. That is what church is all about. That is what we call a revival. You must see somebody in church by now with a weird head. That's revival. After this, I have not seen some before in this church. You must see some in church today with some high heel. How many of you have seen some high heel before? And you see us with this high heel, we've not seen his church before. That is the whole revival. You must see somebody today who is smelling weed and say, this is the first time we see. That is a church. That's what they're talking about. Not beautified. You are seated next to the people you know. Shame unto you. I'm going on Monday. And this message will be recorded. You can go and listen to it again. Get to that place where by now you'll be so proud of yourself that gentleman came to church because of me. That lady came to church because of me. Oh, she had a fibroid. I didn't know. And through the preaching of the gospel, the fibroid vanished. She had pneumonia. And through the preaching of the gospel, the pneumonia is gone. Oh, I never knew she had a cataract. And through the cataract is gone. Exactly a week Friday today, I had an all-night in Ghana. The all-night was organized by Zoom Lion. How many of you have heard of Zoom Lion? Those of you come Ghana. Zoom Lion, Dr. Joseph Sian-Japon. I call names. These things are on. I didn't realize that all the message I came to preach here on Sunday was on the net. If people should have told me, I would have said more than I said. I didn't know what I came to say the last time with Pastor Labi and Barbara. Everything, including Barbara's dress, I joke about, everything was on the net. Jesus, people have been recording and giving me, they send me and say, I didn't know they were recorded. Dr. Joseph Sian-Japon is the owner of Zoom Lion, Joxfund Group. He's one of the millionaires we have in Ghana, and he likes me. When I'm traveling these days, he comes with me. And even to Hungary and some other part of the world, he will follow me and we'll go, or I'll follow him and he pays and I go. He pays and I go. And so he organized, yes, it's okay. When you say the truth, you have to make sure it's the truth. So they organized an all-night, exactly a week today, in Church of Pentecost for his company. So almost all the top guys came, including he himself. When I was told he has arrived there at 12 midnight, we quickly had to run to get to the place. And then I was preaching. And then the man started crying. And I told him to stop crying because when I finish, he must give me good money. I said it publicly. He was crying. But the message has touched his heart. He was crying. I said, Chama, don't just cry. When I finish, you have to take care of me. If you have money and I'm preaching and you're happy, take care of me. Everybody laughed. He waved his hand. I said, myself, I'm not joking, no. I mean it too. I was giving the background. I told you the background of this story. Nara, nara, nare, kere, nare, kere, mo. Nara, 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 nare, kere, nare, kere, mo. For if I have 1,000 tongues, it still won't be enough. Just you. Oh, Chuku.
When you heal completely. Seeking to live.
I say, Nare, Nare, Kere, what shall I render to Jehovah? Oh, for he has done so very much for me. What shall I render to Jehovah? Oh, for he has done so very much for me. He was so touched by the story. That's how Travis Green was born a stillborn baby. How Travis Green, when he was born a stillborn baby, the mother prayed and he was revived. How the doctors and the midwives were making eyes that the woman is crazy. How can your child be born a stillborn baby and you still say you pray? And yesterday when she prayed, the child started crying. Is a cry baby dead? No. And 4 years later, after Travis had grown in Georgia, Atlanta, they decided to go to Germany for holiday. I told you the last time. We went to Germany for the holiday, and Travis Green was playing football on the 7th floor. He was playing the ball, and the ball fell from the 7th floor. And the 4-year-old decided to go after his ball. And so he flew also after the ball. And he fell. He fell opposite a clinic. And so they came and they certified him dead. They're waiting for the heirs to come and pick the dead body. And the mother said, no way, my son will not die. He said, when you heal completely. And so she came down from the 7th floor in her 90 with her underwear and everything showing. She didn't give a hoot what anybody thinks. She came to lie on the baby. He said 4 years ago when I gave birth to him, it was a stillborn baby. And if he can talk and walk and be healed, he can heal it. Whilst he was praying, the young boy got up. And the interesting the young boy said is that, Mama, when I was falling, a big hand held me. A big hand. Wow. Nara, nara, nare, kere, nare, kere, mo. He said, big hand held me. So, Mama, I didn't hit the ground. When they were saying I was dead, it's as if I was dreaming. But I remember the big hand was still there. Until when you started praying, the big hand left. If I have 1,000 tongues, When you heal completely.
You heal
Completely. What shall I render
to Jehovah? For he has done so very much.
Hold on. I said, Zale week today. Guess what happened? Whilst we were praying, a young man who said he has lost his limb in a way of walking for a long time. It was by the sound system. Felt like something was happening to his hips. So he walked like this. He walked like this to the place. Now everybody in the church knew him. Everyone in the church of Pentecost, he walks like this. Everybody knew him. So when I saw him, I said, gentlemen, what happened? He said, the hips, something has happened to his hips. And I said, not just the hips. If God can touch the hip, he will touch the leg. Do you believe? He said, yes, I do. We put him down. I closed my eyes. By the time I realized that the feet has come back to normal. This was what made a man started crying. Somebody must come to church for something to happen. Turn your Bible with me in order for me to say something. Otherwise, you say, the man didn't even preach, he just told a story. Turn your Bible with me to Isaiah 51, from verse 5 through to 10. Yes. In Isaiah chapter 53, verse 5 to 10, I want you to put it on the screen. 53. Isaiah 53, from verse 5 to 10. Say, but he was pierced for our transgressions. He was crushed for our iniquities. The punishments that brought us peace was upon him, and by his wounds we are healed. Verse 6. We all like sheep have gone astray. Each of us has turned to his own way, and the Lord has laid on him the iniquity of us all. Verse 7. He was oppressed and afflicted, yet he did not open his mouth. He was led like a lamb to the slaughter, and as a sheep before her shearers in silence, so he did not open his mouth. Verse 8. By oppression and judgment he was taken away. And who can speak of his descendants? For he was cut off from the land of the living. For the transgression of my people he was stricken. Verse 9. He was assigned a grave with the wicked and with the rich in his death, though he had done no violence, nor was any deceit in his mouth. Chapter 10, verse 10. That's my last verse. Yet it was the Lord's will to crush him and cause him to suffer. And though the Lord make his life a guilt offering, he will see his offspring and prolong his days, and the will of the Lord will prosper in him. Lift up your right hand. On a hill far away stood an rugged cross, the emblem of suffering and shame.
The emblem of suffering and shame.
And I love that cross.
And I love that
Make welcome
where the
the man of God.
dearest and best
For the world of lost sinners was slain.